Hi everyone, this is Kalyan Kumar this side and welcome to Chemistry Universe. This is part 5 of the amines series and it is part 4 in terms of its preparation. The first one was introduction and therefore this is the fifth video on the amine series, and in this one we are going to be doing a reaction called reductive amination of aldehydes and ketones. Now what primarily happens in this is we convert an aldehyde or a ketone into an imine. Now we've already done in aldehydes and ketones how we react an aldehyde and ketone with ammonia or ammonia derivatives and form imines. Now these imines can be further converted into amines by reduction with catalytic hydrogenation. So this is what we're going to check out in this video. All right, so let's get going. Part 5, preparation. Number 4, reductive amination of aldehydes and ketones. And this, by the way, is reaction number 15 in terms of preparation. And here I'm directly going into the mechanism, but let me just give you an idea briefly about what the reaction is all about. Well, the reaction is pretty simple. You have an aldehyde or a ketone for that matter, and let's treat it with ammonia, and let's write ammonia like this, easy to understand. Now remove this water and connect this carbon with this nitrogen with a double bond, because this carbon has lost 2 bonds, nitrogen has lost 2 bonds. So what would you get? You will get this. This is called an imine. A single bond NH2 would be called amine, a double bond NH is called a imine. And it's also called a Schiff's base. So once we get this, we can do a catalytic hydrogenation of this double bond and we can get an amine here. So this is what we're going to check out. We're first going to check out how this imine is formed. So the mechanism for that is this. If you've already done this in aldehyde and ketone, I'm just repeating it here. Suppose I take a ketone and I take ammonia with me. The lone pair will attack the carbon, pi bond shifts to O. Now I can also show the O taking the H of nitrogen, but right now I'm showing it to you like this, stepwise. And later on, of course, I'll include that also, because now I'm going to show an intramolecular proton exchange where the H of NH3 plus goes to O minus. So I could have shown this directly with the O picking the H while this step was going on. It doesn't really matter. But this is what we get. Now there is another intramolecular proton exchange happening, and that causes the N to lose one more H to OH. Now remember this, and I have told you this innumerable number of times, but I guess repeating is not a problem here. Now whenever there is a proton exchange, intramolecular proton exchange, it is not necessary that the proton has to go from a place where the proton is stable to a place where it is unstable. Or let me put it this way, it's not a problem if the proton were to go from a more basic site to a less basic site. Now in this particular case, we know nitrogen is more basic. The nitrogen has a higher chance of taking an H from O. But here I'm showing you that the NH has lost the H and O is taking it. Now I'm not therefore claiming that this is the predominant reaction. This is the predominant step. No, it could happen to a very small extent, but the point is it will happen. So it's not necessary for something to happen always predominantly for us to show that in the reaction. No, we can show a reaction even with a step which is highly unlikely, because ultimately it leads to a product. So that is the only route that we need to follow. So it's not necessary that the initial steps have to be highly forward or most likely. So they can be less likely, but as long as they can happen to whatever extent they happen, and if that yields a product, that is what we're going to do. Now you may say, will that product be a major product or a minor product? Well, it will always be a major product. Otherwise we won't be using this reaction in the first place. So why would be major? Maybe some other step makes it go forward more. Maybe there is some more further steps that are irreversible that will drag the reaction this way. So it's not that every time I show a particular step which is less likely than something else, therefore this will form. Because Okay, what will happen if this H goes to this NH2? You'll again get this. Isn't it going backward? And I have anyway shown that to go backward. And then this O minus can come, ammonia can go. I'll go backward again. So I'm going to get the reactant only. I'm not going to get a unique product. But when I get a product, it means this is happening. And since these are experimentally established mechanisms, so it doesn't really should bother us that, this particular step is highly unlikely. How did this happen? That's okay. We saw it out in benzoin condensation, where the carbon lost an H to OH. This is NH anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so with that out of the way, now let's see what happens. If water is lost, then N minus will make the carbon again octet complete, and you will get imine. This is what we were looking for. And if you simply do catalytic hydrogenation, you will get a primary amine. Because there is an NH2 here. N has only one carbon. But suppose if I were to not use ammonia, if I were to use a primary amine instead, that means there is already a R, then obviously, and here you see I'm showing you the O directly taking the H because I don't want to show more steps. Ultimately, I'm going to get this. And again, if the N were to lose the H to OH, again the same thing happens. Minus comes back, water leaves, and again do catalytic hydrogenation. This is N-alkylamine. Won't you get a secondary amine this time? So what will happen if I use a secondary amine instead? Suppose I use a secondary amine. I'm expected to get a tertiary amine, but this is how I get it. It's slightly different. Because remember, the N has already lost one H here. So there is no more H it can lose. But remember, look at that CH3. That CH3 has one H to give to the OH. Now, how unlikely is that? But it happens. And, I'm showing you the removal of water simultaneously. So O is taking that H. The CH bond is coming between CC and water is leaving. Giving us what? Giving us, and then this one, and then I do catalytic hydrogenation. Here it is a CC which is getting reduced, and I get a tertiary amine. And that is reductive amination of aldehydes and ketones. So I hope this video helped you in understanding reaction number 15, the reductive amination. We'll continue with the preparation of amines in further videos. Till then, goodbye, have a nice day, and thank you for watching this.